Hey guys, this is Christians in the Gritty. Life is hard.
And man, we've lived it.
We sure have. We are just two sisters doing our best to please God through it all.
And having fun doing it.
Woo! Guess who we have? We have Miss Shealyn, my daughter, Melissia.
Hi.
She's our first guest.
Yay!
As long as you don't count the chickens or the little ones. No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, she's the first person that has something really to say.
Yeah. Besides, hi, I'm Dom.
Oh, which is super cute, but yeah.
So say hi, Shealyn.
Hi, guys.
So what's been going on?
I just emailed Professor.
Yeah?
Because she was asking questions for bonus points. And then I also emailed financial aid because I'm very confused about that. Hashtag college life.
Yeah.
That's basically. Oh, it is mine and James's 2-year.
You guys have been together for 2 years. Yay. He's a good kid.
Yeah, he is.
You're listening to Christians in the Gritty.
I'm Christina.
I'm Shealyn.
And this is Melissia. I mean, in a few days, when you turn 18, I'll be okay with it. I'm just kidding. That's my running joke. Like, get away from my minor. Because he's 19 now.
Oh my.
They were in the same grade,
man.
but you were sent early. So I'm like, get away from my minor daughter. What are you doing? I'm just kidding. He's really a guy after God's heart, and I couldn't be happier that you're going to live in a household that is seeking God.
Yeah, I know that's super
If you just let him lead.
Yeah.
He does. I was gonna joke.
Pot and
I'm
kettle.
still gonna joke.
Pot and kettle.
I was like, a little less of mom's stubbornness.
Yeah, she gets it honest.
No, but I think God gives us those traits for a reason.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
just got to use them in the right way.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's true.
But anyway, don't let that take away the excitement, though, of a proposal and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I'm excited for you to be in this household. Hold on, you're not even proposed to yet.
I know. I say that to them all the time. Like, maybe he doesn't want to ask you that.
I know. I do that to Liz and Colton.
Yeah.
And she's not even graduated this year, like until next year.
Yeah, that's when they were still in high school.
Yeah.
And they'd be talking about stuff. I'm like, hey, he hasn't even proposed to you yet.
It's so funny because, like, mine and James is 2 years today, and then my birthday's this Sunday. So, like, in not even a week. And so we always give each other hints about presents. And he said something that, like, the present could last, like, a long time. And then he also, what did he say? Then I joked around. No, I was joking around. He said something else. And I was like, and then I showed my ring finger. And then he's like, no, not that. I was like, dang.
I was like, wait a second. Because I didn't want you to get, because once you're like me, once your mind's on something, you'd be disappointed for anything else. No matter if it was better or not.
No,
Because it's like, no, but I thought it was this other thing.
It's just so funny because I've been trying to figure it out, and then I forget exactly what he said, but I'm like, that literally sounds exactly like a wedding ring. And then I'm like, how has he been so calm? But then I'm like, let me just joke. And he's like, no. I was like, dang.
Don't be hurried to go up.
I know,
yeah.
I'm joking.
And
No, you're
plus,
not.
like,
I love you.
she's kind of joking.
I'm kind of joking in a way. We're
Yeah.
too broke for
It's
that.
something you want for the future. Right. I get it. I'm happy for you guys, though.
Thanks.
And he can't give hints when that comes because, like that,
Yeah.
he'll be, like, guessing.
Yeah. Okay, James, no hints for when that comes.
He's so bad at keeping secrets. I'm going to know anyways.
He better just pop the question as soon as he thinks of it.
Like the same week.
Be like, why are you doing this in my mom's kitchen with all her zucchinis laying on the floor? No, just kidding.
Okay.
Because I thought about it this afternoon. I went and bought it, and now you know. No, just kidding.
Yeah, I can't keep the secret. I'm too excited. Well, Mark proposed to me when I was putting on my socks.
Really?
He might not remember that, but I do.
Yeah.
Funny.
Yes.
That is funny.
He was nervous. He was like shaking, and he's like, and I'm like, oh man, I'm putting on socks right now.
I would have
You
thrown
know-
the sock at his face. I would have been like, no way.
You have to wait. Now I know. Now it's red. No, I'm just kidding. I know we expect things, and I think that's the enemy is our expectations. Like I was telling her, as Brandon, I expected him. He's a sensitive guy, and he likes to hug people. And you know, we got engaged pretty quickly, even though we already I don't know. We did. We knew we wanted to get married within 3 weeks of dating each other, but
Oh yeah.
we were out here and I had gotten him those glasses that you see color with, because he's colorblind, and the colorblind glasses, that's what they're called.
Yeah.
And so he was looking around, and then he gets on his knee and asks me, and he just says, "Will you marry me?" And that was the end of it. And I was like, I thought I was gonna get the fairy tale marriage proposal. Like, that's what was in my head.
Yeah.
Like, the whole time, like, oh, he's going to be like, will you marry me because of this reason?
Yeah.
And there was no reason. I'm just
we
like,
didn't
that's it.
We didn't go swim with the dolphins, and then the dolphin came up with the ring.
I just expected, because I love you and I never want to be without you, and
Yeah.
the things you do, things that he used to say, like, you made this house a home. He said those things to me. So what in the world would it be?
He's
Just,
like,
will you marry me?
I just got to get this over with.
And then wait for the answer. Like, is that it? Yeah. Is that the whole proposal? Is that I get to marry you? Like,
Maybe people should not share their proposal stories.
yeah.
Because then it ruins it for the rest of us. No,
Well-
I'm just kidding. No,
Well,
I'm
the
just
point
kidding.
is, yeah, you should definitely not come into. It's hard to not come in things with expectations like
Yeah.
that. My friend used to have. I don't know if she still does because I don't work there anymore. Expectation is the root of all disappointment, or something. It's true.
It is true.
Me and James yesterday were joking around after that comment, like with the ring. And I was like, our proposal's probably going to be so funny because he's probably going to stutter and get all worked up. He's probably going to be like, me marry you, please.
Which would be cute.
It would be cute.
But if you think about it too much,
I know.
yeah.
But it was just so funny. I don't care. As long as I get to.
Yeah, that's the heart to have.
That's funny.
So you eventually will be living in Missouri.
Yes.
I'm not looking forward to that.
Oh.
I'm not either, but I'm also looking forward to something new. But after the first week, I feel like I'm going to be like, I just told Brandon that inside.
Like, now what?
Yeah. But
Yeah.
I don't know. But it'll work out.
I really think that when you guys get there and you get to being with each other, you'll get to be able to figure out who you are as a couple, and to be able to figure out how to survive with it just being you two and not have everyone else around, and
Yeah.
figure out who you are as one.
Yeah. I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to it.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be good learning. You just got to remember to think about because she is my child, and because she takes after me, I feel like I can say this and it not hurt her feelings as much as it would, is that you can't always be in charge.
I know. I let him.
I let him. Do you
No,
hear this?
listen, I don't know.
She's like, wait a minute.
He does, I let him lead. I just said I let him again. But, he leads.
He
feel
does.
like
He does.
I can
I really think that he's going to do some big things if he was to go forward and lead, like the things I've seen him doing with his basketball team and praying with both sets of teams after the basketball games and all the students and the amount of like courage that takes when you have like a stadium full of people looking down on you, you know, like that was that's
awesome.
That's being strong in your faith. And I was very, very proud. I would say almost prideful. No, I was really encouraged that one day he's going to lead your house. And it made me cry.
Aww.
More than just him being like there for God, like being okay with his faith.
Yeah.
More than proud the fact that he's praying with everyone and he's looking to God. It was your future is what I was seeing. Like, this is a guy who is not afraid to look to God. And I was like, okay. Yeah.
And some pride is good. As long as it's pride because of God.
The glory of God.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's super exciting. This is what I was thinking about when you guys are talking. Breaking cycles, like generational cycles.
Yeah.
And I think that hopefully our kids are doing that.
Yeah, because when we show the example of how it's supposed to be, which I'm not doing a great job. I mean, I haven't in my life because, you know, broken marriages and just struggles of, you know, that's how they're going to know. The kids will see that and then replicate it.
Yeah, and I think the important thing is that we're being honest with our kids. And we're like, yes, we did do that, but it was not God's way.
It was not the right choice, and this is the consequences that came of it. You know, the generational thing reminded me of when we had the marriage retreat with Jackie and Mickey.
Yeah, 628 Ministries.
Yes. Good job remembering things. Yeah, send them your tithing. No, I'm just kidding. No, do what God tells you to do. Anyways, but how, you know, doing those things in our household now and showing them how to behave. And I've been really struggling with that lately, being so stressed out, like not getting angry at the first sign of trouble because I'm already living at that stress level. And I see Shay doing that sometimes. I'm sorry. Living with your stress level up here. And it's just really hard to not get overwhelmed when we live up there.
Right. And I think, too, once we get to that point, because I do it, too, is as soon as they start to, like, make a certain face or say like one word, we immediately think we know what they're thinking or going to say, and most of the time I'm wrong.
Yeah.
And then I start like a little argument for no reason.
Yeah, the argument started in my head, which is like the devil making those things for you. And my thing, like the other day when I was talking to you girls about you girls at the Bible study, I was talking about how I could already feel that in me to do like I did and start listening to the Bible because I was painting a room. So I needed to start listening to the Bible. Man, how much difference did it make today when I sat down and looked at the Bible or when we started talking about God from my mood earlier till now? Yeah. It's completely different. Just remember to always be opening your Bible and just say, stop. Can we just pray together? Is a big thing that I struggle with being able to do still.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's hard once you've started a relationship one way to transform it into like this maturity with Christ.
And that's where I think that they're doing, the opposite of what the secular world says is they're young. Let them go have fun. No, let them grow together.
Right.
Let them grow together and let them learn how to live and be as one and look to God together. As your yoke is the same right now, you know?
I think Carolyn probably one of our biggest supporters. She's always the one that's like, you got to go and grow together. Because, like, she read a book and it said that you, like, develop the most in your 20s. She's like, so you guys really need to get married young. Like, you need to get married, like, as soon as possible.
I don't think that's wrong for you guys.
No, I don't think so.
It's not right for everyone.
No.
like I got married young.
Yeah.
And was I ready personally to be married? I would have said yes. But now, as I've matured and grown closer to God, I would say no. But if I would have married the right person.
Because you weren't seeking after God.
If I would have married someone who loved God, it would have been a different story.
Right. But we weren't seeking God either at that point. I feel like if both people are seeking God in the couple, you know, then that's when,
Yeah.
you know, it just doesn't mean that that they are the right one for you just because they seek God too. Because I've ran into that before. Like, oh, this is a person who loves God and I like him. And then he ended up stomping on my heart. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, just because, you know, people say one thing or like God, it's in the way that they act, and look to God for that answer. Is this the one for me? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. And I can't. So, like, I've talked about this before. When Liz and Colton started dating, I made them answer like this whole huge list of questions.
Yeah.
Did she talk to you about it?
Yeah.
But they actually did it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Shay, do you think it's helpful to you guys, like, when we do stuff like that, or when we tell you about our past and our mistakes?
I do think it's very helpful because, like, I'm not saying, like, you guys are bad or, like, bad people, but, like, sometimes when I hear something, I'm like, okay, so don't do that. And
That's good.
I don't know.
Well, I don't want to romanticize it. I think sometimes I do a few things because, you know, you always want to be tough. So I'm like, well, back in the day, you wouldn't want to mess with me. I'm just saying, like, which is probably true.
Yeah.
But at the same time, that didn't bring me joy.
Right.
Like, you got to be careful how you're presenting those things to your kids. Like, when I had a rager, I went out and had an amazing time. No. I'm going to tell you, yeah, it was fun in the moment, but when I woke up the next day, you don't know what kind of shame I had.
Yes,
you know?
Exactly.
And I don't want you to feel that. And it sticks with me. I still remember, like, when I'm driving down the road, I'll still be thinking about those things I did.
That's the time when I think Satan gets at us most.
Yeah, we're
driving our car or in the shower.
Potty.
Yeah, on the potty.
Pray or get off the pot, I always say.
Yes.
No, for real. Get away from me, because that's when all those negative thoughts start coming in your head. When you have nowhere else to be, nothing else to do besides doomsday scroll or whatever. Read the shampoo bottle. There's, that's when the devil's going to sit there and get at you.
Yeah. Remember that time when you
did these things?
Whatever. Yeah, and you're right. And that's what I tell people who have never drank before. Mm-hmm. Don't do it.
Yeah.
Don't even have one drink. Like,
Marley
don't even
says she's
start
not going
right now.
to.
Yeah.
Because of just everything in life that she's seen.
Mm-hmm.
She's seen me go through a little bit of it. And just knowing how much their biological dad struggles with it. Mm-hmm. And she's like, I just don't think it'll be a good idea for me to start with the way I already get addicted to things. Like, I don't know if she said it in exactly this way, but like how she already has tendencies to get a hold of something, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like her phone or whatever, because she has ADHD and all that. Yeah. It's very easy for us with ADHD to self-medicate. Yeah. And so don't.
Or anxiety or depression.
Yes, exactly.
I guess I'm just still thinking sometimes, I know you're saying like, you have to be careful how you present it to our kids, right? Sometimes I'm like, whoa, did I go too far?
Yeah, telling them this.
I don't think that. I feel like maybe when you're younger, but I feel like especially once you reach like high school age, there really is no too far. Because I feel, I feel like when you talk to me, like, I feel like I wanted you to tell me it all because I didn't want like, because I feel like it made us closer, and I don't like things sugar-coated, period. Yeah. So, like...
I think you got to look at each kid and their maturity level, their age. Mm-hmm. And that's something Marley really struggles with when it comes to you, because she sees the way I am with you, and I said, that's the way I parent Shealyn. Yeah. I'm not going to parent you the same way, because you have different needs and different weaknesses and different strengths than Shade has.
Right. And sometimes we can tell the same story, but change the wording a bit
Yeah.
to be appropriate for the person. I know I shared just a little part of my testimony at youth group. Afterwards, I go, Jeff, did I just say too much there? He's like, no, he didn't say that. No, he said, I mean, either they're already going through those things or they're going to.
Yeah.
You know, which is true.
Yeah.
And
we don't realize how much they already know. I think back when I was in high school, I knew it all.
Yeah.
All those things.
Yes.
I knew them all. I mean, I didn't know everything, but I knew that stuff.
And like what I'll say to my kids too is like how you said Marley said she'll never drink, right? And I'm not picking on her. I'm just saying to any kids you talk to is like, you're saying that now, but remember, those are the things that you're going to be tempted in.
Yeah, because you already know it's going to be a struggle.
Yeah.
So the devil is going to prey on that.
Yes. And that's like things that I said I wouldn't do. I wasn't going to drink. I wouldn't have sex before marriage. Yeah. Like those things. And I was very strong in it to a certain time in my life.
Me too.
And first it was alcohol.
Alcohol, I was never going to say but the sex before marriage,
Yeah. So, I mean, one thing leads to another, and you really have to have that courage to speak up to people and say, no, I'm not doing that. Or these are my boundaries. And
and your boundaries are yours.
respect it.
I don't care if somebody loves you or you love them. They're not their boundaries. They're your boundaries. And you don't owe them anything.
Right.
I always felt like I owed it to them.
Yeah.
And you don't. I know some girl out there probably needs to hear that because I felt like I was supposed to say that. So,
yeah. And it's not only like, yes, that's an important point. And also another thing, like for me, was like looking for love.
Yeah.
Right? It was like, all right, this person likes me, you know?
Yeah. It's really addictive.
That's like the biggest thing. Like, I don't know. Like, whenever I'm talking to my friends who are like single and it's like, I want a boyfriend, I'm like, seriously, don't look for one. I'm like, me and James, neither of us were looking for anything. I just got out of like a bad high school relationship, whatever. And I genuinely just wanted to be single. And then here comes James on a missions trip. And I'm like, I actually like this kid.
Yeah.
Like, I wasn't even trying to.
Yeah.
Because when you're looking for something, you're going to find it, even if it's not the right thing.
Right.
You're going to find it. That's exactly how Brandon and I got together. I said, God, if you don't want me to be with anyone, because this didn't work out either, and what am I doing to my kids? You know, I had an ex-husband and I had a longtime boyfriend. That didn't work out. I'm like, just take that feeling away from me.
Yeah.
And just make it go away. And then as soon as I did that, it was like a week later, Brandon sent me a wave on Facebook.
And you're like, hi.
I was like, oh, Brandon, what have you been doing? I was not looking for him.
Yeah. He was looking for you.
Yeah. Yeah, because Lynn, Mr. Lynn from my work, who also was friends with him, was like, hey, I have a girl for you. I was like, leave him, don't send him my way. I'll just destroy him, is what I told him.
I know. Well, and the same thing happened with me. As soon as I was content with being single and I didn't want to find anyone, then I got introduced to Mark.
Yeah. In fact, you tried to avoid him hard.
I did. About 5 times I walked away.
Yeah.
Literally. But again, so I'm saying this, like, yes, I do believe God brought us together, even in our circumstance where we were in sin, right? Because I've said it before, is we met in a bar.
Yeah.
Which to find out we did meet before that, but didn't realize. But anyway, I still think God brought us together, but we had a lot of growing to do. And Mark wasn't even saved at that point. So,
but thank God that you guys got together, because I'm not saying that it's all about you, but God knew that you had to be with him and he was going to get saved.
And also, he Mark guided me back to church because he said he knew how important that was to me.
Right.
And then that led to him being saved. So
his love for you and wanting you to be with God that you wanted to be with led him to church.
right.
Right?
Yeah.
So God knows what he's doing.
So even while you're living in sin, God still works.
God uses the hardened heart, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. He uses people's hearts that hard. No, go ahead.
And like, not so much about the sin part, but like Christina was saying about how they had met before. Like, you could cross paths with these people so many times. Like, you went to high school with Brandon. Well,
Yeah.
my dad, but
Yeah.
but like, you cross paths so many times. Like, me and James were talking a couple weeks ago. Turns out we played football against each other.
Yeah.
We've lived 10 minutes apart our entire lives.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
You were born
not-
in the town he lives in.
exactly. Like,
Like you lived there until you were a baby.
And, like,
or until
Yeah.
while you were a baby.
yeah, and we went to the same youth group for at least a year together. And like, we never talked to each other until it was God's timing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So,
it is
like-
about God's timing.
So like, if you feel like you should be searching, or if you feel like you found the guy, I mean, just go to God, because you never really know until like, I feel like you have to like know. Like, I knew. I don't know.
yeah.
Like, when I met him and started talking to him, I'm like, I knew that he was the guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Aw.
That's how I was with Brandon too. It was like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm marrying this one.
We started dating after like a month of even knowing each other, and it was before that actually. We hadn't even known each other a month when we
Yeah.
were dating,
Yeah.
because like, it just felt right.
But I also say to fall in love slowly.
Yeah.
Because just because you have that feeling that this is the one, you don't know that person yet. You need to, I stress this to the kids. Well, Shealyn's already found her guy, but how many times did you date a guy and think that, oh, he's the best? Not that you were thinking he's the one, but you were
I was
thinking,
like, oh, he's so nice. Like,
yeah, like I'm going to form him into what my thought process is and what I think he is.
but like, it never really like clicked.
Yes.
And you'll
Exactly.
know.
You'll know, but still be slowly because
Yeah.
I feel like you never will know a person until you've been around them long enough
Yeah.
because nobody is acting like themselves.
And here's the thing, too. When you move too fast, you might truly love someone and they're completely toxic for you.
Yes. You're not right for
And
each other.
then you're at this point, I'm speaking from experience. You're at this point where you're like, but I love him so much, I'm still going to marry him.
Yeah. I can't think of my life without him. I've done that.
Yeah.
There was this person, I don't remember where I heard it, but it said, be careful who you date because you might fall in love with them. And that is the biggest thing I can say to junior high school kids.
Yeah.
Don't just date for fun or having a boyfriend.
Yeah.
You're dating, even though you're not getting married now and your brain is not on, I'm dating to get married. Your brain should be on, I'm only dating to get married.
Yeah.
Because what if you fall in love with them?
And if you're not ready to think that way, then you shouldn't be dating yet.
Correct. That's called just be friends. You don't have to make out with boys. You know what I mean? That's just going to lead you to temptation for a person that's not right for you.
Yeah. And just saying all this is who comes first in your life?
Yeah, it should be God.
It should be God. So always seek God in everything that you're doing, and especially your relationships. And marriage is biblical.
It is.
Oh.
It is. And we're not saying that you should go out and try to find a husband in junior high and high school. That's, that's not what we're saying. Just don't date if you're not ready to date.
Right.
There's this other thing I saw that was really cool and I think would be fitting for this. This woman's like, how come nobody ever asked me out and I never am able to date anyone? I never find anyone that's nice. And then you see this guy on his knees praying, protect my wife, my future wife. And it makes me want to cry. Protect my future wife from all of these people that do not need to, all these men. Protect her, keep her safe from these men, and have her wait for me.
Aww.
And so a lot of times when you're feeling that loneliness and stuff,
Yeah.
It could be a good thing.
Yeah.
You don't have to go hurry up and find him. God's timing, like she's saying, is God's timing. It's just hard to wait. But look to God. That loneliness should never be filled by a person anyways.
Right. And that's what I was
It's
going to
God.
say, is the only true fulfillment we get is from God.
Yeah.
So no relationship is going to fill in that void.
Nope.
You're always going to feel it
Yeah.
if you're not with God. And like what I would say to like Shay and Liz and Colton and James is like, you guys, even if you're like, your relationship is based off of God, but you're still going to have trials.
Yeah.
It's still going to be hard.
Yeah, you still got to learn how to get through it
Yeah.
and how to manage it.
Yeah.
But
I'm
go ahead.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I mean, like a big thing that not necessarily that like hinders our relationship, but something that James and I have been struggling with is just wrapping our heads around the fact that like we have to go to Missouri because in order to do what I want to do, we're going to go to I'm going to go to Missouri. And he's already said like he's not going to let me go alone, 1, and 2, hopefully we're married by then. So like
That's like 3
obviously
years
I wouldn't
from
be
now,
going
yeah.
alone. Yeah, I know, that's what I'm saying. But hopefully I wouldn't be going alone. But like he struggles a lot because he's like, I'm not saying this against you or anything, but like I'm gonna have to pick up and like leave, and I'm just worried about like the job situation down there. But I don't know why. I just like have this like peace about it.
Yeah.
It's because of God. Like I
Yeah,
know
it
why.
is God.
But like it's so like
It's
what's
such
the
a
word?
short time.
What's the word though? Like such a like
Freeing.
no, like unexplainable. That's what it is.
Yeah.
An unexplainable peace. Like there's so much like
We talk about it so much on the podcast. There's the peace that it surpasses all understanding.
yeah.
It's from
That's
God.
it.
It's God's peace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's God's peace on you because he's going to handle it. And you know what? I was so worried that he was going to love this job so much. And I thought, you know what? God's going to handle it. If he's supposed to be there, he will be. But if he's not supposed to be, and it's supposed to be something he falls in love with, he's not going to. And then he did not fall in love with it.
Yeah.
And I wonder if he will fall in love with anything until after. I think that might be a God thing. Maybe he won't find what he's supposed to be doing until after you come back from Missouri.
Yeah. And tomorrow he has like an interview with him for a construction job. And that's what he got offered right after high school. He's like, maybe I should have just taken it. And I'm like, but James, you would have never known. And you would have always been wondering what the other job. So maybe this construction job
Is
it.
But you needed to know that where your no was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think that a big verse, which I feel like everybody knows, but it's like such a well said verse that it needs to be said, is 1 Corinthians 13:4-8. Love is patient and kind. Love does not envy or boast. It is not arrogant or rude. It does not insist on its own way. It is not irritable or resentful. It does not rejoice at wrongdoing, but rejoices with the truth. Love bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. Love never ends. As for prophecies, they will pass away. As for tongues, they will cease. As for knowledge, it will pass away. I just love that verse. It's like one of my favorites.
It's like the wedding verse.
Yeah.
It's that everybody has, but there's a reason for it.
But it's like looking at my relationship, it fits these lines.
And it
Like-
should.
And it really should. And I think that it kind of reminds me of this Sunday's sermon, like with, what is his name, Troy?
Yeah, Troy.
With Troy, how he was saying that we need to reset. I think that if you're looking at your relationships, this is a good couple verses to look at to reset.
I need to watch the sermon.
Yeah,
like,
we were in the nursery.
Yeah. And so because I think that can be good for us. You know how we talked about when you're already like established in your relationship and we're not doing like our relationship is not following those biblical lines per se. Resetting could be a good thing.
Yeah. It's hard to start over and reset. It's easier to just start the right way, but it's life and the way the world works.
Yeah. And like we've talked about before too is, okay, with your spouse, you should feel the most comfortable with that person. But instead, because we didn't start off the right way, like, oh man, this is so embarrassing.
And our
like,
intimacy was laid for the wrong reasons.
Yeah. So, okay, and then the verse that I was thinking about, just going along with what Shay's saying about her and James and like their plans, is Proverbs 16:9. In their hearts, humans plan their course, but the Lord establishes their steps. So, like how you were saying, like He's going to lead you to where you're supposed to be.
Right.
Yeah.
And like even the last episode that we talked about, sometimes those doors are closed for a reason. And it's God. And you just need to say, okay. Because if it was for you, you would have it.
Right.
And that's something I told James too when he was looking for that, when he was trying to an interview for that job. I said, if it's not for you, you won't have it. But if it's for you, you will. And he's like, true. Like if God means it for you, you will have it.
Right.
His will be done.
That's what I need to tell Keegan right now. He's on the job search. So,
Yeah.
Same, bro.
But yeah, Jesus said that you can do all the commandments with just one word, is to love God above all else and love your neighbor more than you love yourself, or as you love yourself. So if you think about any of the commandments, you're not going to steal if you love that person. You're not going to kill them if you love them. You know, any of the commandments, as long as you have love in your heart, you will not do them. You will not go against any of the commandments.
And
oh no, go ahead. You don't have to feel bad.
No, we interrupt all the time.
something based off of that verse when you said that you need to love yourself. I think that before you even try to get in a relationship, it's a really big thing to just love yourself first, because you need to love your neighbor like you love yourself. How are you supposed to love your neighbor if you don't love yourself? And how are you supposed to love yourself if you don't love God? Like,
Yes.
you know what I mean? So I feel like first you need to focus on your faith and your spiritual walk. Learn to love God and love yourself.
Yes.
And then you can let yourself open up to people. And
if you're not a full person yet.
Yeah,
how
and
are
I
you
feel
supposed to
like,
be too?
yes, sometimes people can aid in that. So don't, like, push people away, because sometimes God will send people
Yes.
to help you.
Yes.
But it's like, it's a fine line. I don't know.
Yeah, you're right. You're totally right. That's perfectly. If you're not seeking God and you're not feeling like you're complete with God in a way, it's weird to explain that, but yeah. If you're not having that peace from God, then you're not ready.
Yeah.
And I can read this verse. I know I've read it on the podcast before, but it really fits like with what Shay is talking about as well. John 15, starting at verse 9, it says, "As the Father has loved me, so have I loved you. Now remain in my love. If you keep my commands, you will remain in my love, just as I have kept my Father's commands and remain in his love." And this is Jesus talking. "I have told you this so that my joy may be in you and your joy may be complete. My command is this: love each other as I have loved you. Greater love has no one than this, to lay down one's life for one's friends." So, but like in verse 11, where it says, "I have told you this so that my joy may be in you and that your joy may be complete." So that's like where we get our fullness from, is from God.
Yeah. Just like the book, The Vertical Marriage, if you're not looking up to God, chickens, and trying to always be looking up to God and finding that from him and the joy from him. You will never find it in your spouse. Your spouse is not capable of the love that you need.
Yeah.
And like, I feel like along with that, like you have to understand, like you're gonna mess up, your spouse is gonna mess up. It's both of your first times at living. You can't, you like, like you don't know everything. So that's why God's there to help you.
Yeah.
And we should be constantly growing.
Yeah.
So always asking God for wisdom, which people say don't pray for that. But you should. You should pray for wisdom. Always.
I feel like I've said before, though, if you're praying for patience or for wisdom, sorry about the chickens, then you already have it in your head, and God is already going to be teaching you. I mean, because God knows all the things you need. And if you're thinking, man, I really need some wisdom, don't pray for wisdom because God's going to teach you a lesson. I'm sorry, but he's already going to teach you a lesson.
Yeah.
It's gonna come whether you
It's going
like
to
it or
come,
not.
yeah. So you might as well be in tune with God to make the ride not so bumpy.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I guess, do you want me to pray?
Sure.
Okay. God, thank you so much for this time we have together and for having Shealyn on and for us just to be able to fellowship together and to be able to have something to say that really means something. And I'm telling you, it made my mom heart so happy to hear these words from her and to hear her to be so in line with you, Lord. And that's what I pray for our kids to always just seek you and for you to always be there with them and for them to feel you. And we ask that you be also there for all the people listening and for them to have gotten something out of this and for them to have reached out to someone that may be able to help them in whatever they're struggling with, Lord. And be with us throughout the week as we go on and try to apply this to our lives, Lord. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
You've been listening to Christians in the Gritty.
I'm Christina.
I'm Shealyn.
And this is Melissa.